guys, today I'd like to tell you a very interesting story, the story of Cinderella. Cinderella. Once upon a time, there lived a beautiful girl called Cinderella. She lived with her stepmother and two stepsisters. They would treat her like a slave. They made her do all the household chores and never made her feel part of the family. Cinderella used to feel very lonely. One day, the king invited all the pretty girls of his kingdom to a royal ball so that the prince could find a bride. The stepmother and her daughters dressed up and went to the ball. They left poor Cinderella all alone at home, sobbing and doing the housework. Deep in her heart, Cinderella wished she could also somehow go to the royal ball. Suddenly, a fairy appeared out of nowhere. She asked Cinderella, "Do you want to attend the royal ball?" Cinderella said, "Yes," but when she looked at herself, she felt disappointed. "How can I go to the ball dressed in rags?" she asked the fairy. The fairy smiled and waved her magic wand. Cinderella found herself wearing the most beautiful dress and slippers she had ever seen. She looked absolutely gorgeous. The fairy asked Cinderella to bring a big pumpkin, a cat, and to bring 6 live mice. With her magic wand, she turned the pumpkin into a sparkling coach, 6 mice into white horses, and the cat into a well-dressed coachman. Cinderella could not believe her eyes. Before Cinderella left, the fairy said, "Remember to come back before 12 o'clock. That is when my magical spell ends. Everything that I have given to you will disappear." Cinderella replied, "Yes, I will." Cinderella had a wonderful time at the ball. Everyone was looking at her and appreciating her beauty. Even her own stepsisters could not recognize her. The prince danced with her several times and fell in love with her. Cinderella heard the first stroke of midnight and remembered the fairy's words. She rushed out of the ball. As she ran down the stairs, one of her slippers came off, but she didn't stop to pick it up and left. The prince, who followed her, picked up the slipper and asked his ministers to find the girl whose foot the slipper fits. The ministers tried the slipper on the foot of every girl in the kingdom until only Cinderella was left. The next day, the prince took the slipper to Cinderella's house. Her stepsisters tried one by one to fit in the slipper, but it fitted no one. At last, Cinderella wore the slipper, and it fitted her feet perfectly. The prince was extremely happy. Cinderella's stepmother and sisters were in a state of shock. The prince fell in love with Cinderella all over again. He married her and took her to his palace, where they lived with each other happily ever after.